Hi, this is Stargazer. So as you can see, I got the new jersey in. So let's do a comparison between the last year model, which is this one, and the first year. Association and Icon, they have the same cut, so even the color is different, they'll fit the same way. So let's take a look at the New Jersey first. So this is the only jersey that I was able to get right away. All the other ones were pre-order and wasn't going to be shipped out until end of September. But for some reason, Klay Thompson jersey was available right away. So I picked it up at, I think, Fanatics, and I got it for 25% off, 20 or 25% off. So that was not bad. And I'm sure you can tell some of the differences already. But let's start with the neckline first. Just like the previous years, it has this extended wishbone collar. Yellow yarn, white yarn. Two different yarns that are yarn dyed. And this line looks cleaner than the previous years. A little warping here, but it's not too bad. And for the lining, it's the white. It's the extensions from this edge color and white bias tape to hide the seam. For the armhole, just one color, yellow. And for a swoosh, it's in white. And just like the previous years, it's a print. And it's pretty thin, so you can't see the perforation from the base fabric. It's shown through as a texture. And to the logo, so for this year, Warriors used the original font. They created a new font just for this, so it's a little bit more rounded. It has this edge or this corner at the top. And this is something new, a little bit different from last year. Same thing with the bottom. I think this is because they moved to San Francisco this season. And the bridge is a little bit different too. I'll talk about it later in detail, but one of the biggest difference is the font here too, as well as adding this, I don't know what these are called, pillars, whatever this line is. It's still the same bridge. They didn't switch it to Golden Gate Bridge. This is still Bay Bridge. But according to them, they want to add a little more details to the bridge. But it's still the same fabric patch. If you look at it closely, all these are print. And you can see the twill texture going diagonal. And just like the previous seasons, you could see the edges along the patch, which is a little bit noticeable even if it's from far away. And the fabric is same with the Warriors. And these letters are individually cut. Unlike some of the other jerseys. And to the tag, not much has changed from last year. So last year the plus sign was gone, but this year it's back again. So that's pretty much it for the front. Let's look at the back now. So this is how it looks from the back. Pretty standard. Nothing is noticeably different. Same rib knit on the back. NBA logo. Same type of print, just like last year and the year before. And Thompson name is also the same. There's 12 patch, individually cut, and a little bit of the white edges are visible. But on yellow, the white edges aren't that noticeable, so this is okay. And I think this font is different too from last year. I'll compare that later. And the jersey number on the back is definitely different. And this is the side panel. Just like previous years, it's the same thin side panel. And it has a tape on the middle. They're stitched on, and they're a separate piece. So there's not that much thing that are noticeably different besides the logo, but let's compare them in detail. So this Thompson jersey on the top, this is the one from the first year, 2017-2018 model. It has a square Rakuten badge, that's how you can tell. And right under it is last year's model. This is 2018-2019 model for McKinney. Slight difference between this one will be the patch on the logo. This one is a printed on number, but for McKinney, this is a separate patch that they add on top of it. This is more of a custom order, whereas the Thompson is pre-made one. So that's why there's a little difference here, but other than that, everything will be the same. And the sizing are the same between 2017 and 2018 models, so I'll just use this as an example. So let's start with the neckline. At the edge, it looks a little bit wider on the newer model. Slightly more, maybe about another 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch wider between the neck opening on the shoulder. But the height of right here, the opening, is about the same. The curve looks about the same as well. And for the neck, or for the shoulder, and this is the shoulder seam. This is 2 inches exactly. And this is 1 7/8. But let's check the other side. See if it matches up. And this side is 2 inches. So this side is slightly more narrower, and maybe same thing happens with this one too. This is actually a little bit more than 2 inches. So the shoulder seam, the length didn't change, but compared to last year's model, or at least the one that I got, the rib knit is a little bit more narrow on this one. But it could be just this model. So for same position on the shoulder line, it gets to the same spot. And the length is pretty much the same. So there's no major difference between the last year's model and this year's model as far as the length goes. I marked it at the same spot on the seam line, going all the way down, and it is different. So compared with this one, the Chinese New Year, it's about 1.5 inches, because the Chinese New Year model or the City Edition model, they tend to be a little bit longer compared to Association and Icon models. So this is the center length, center back length, and it's at 29 inches or 29.25 on the back. Then from the new one, it's actually a little shorter. I'm not sure if this is because of the make, or do they change the actual length? So this is the chest size. So I'm measuring from the end of this tape right here to the other side, and it's about 23.5 for the last year's model. And this is this year's model. So same thing from the tape to the tape, and there's a tape at the edge, can't see it here, but it's actually a little bit wider on this year's model. It's 23 inch and 3/4, which is 1/4 inch more on one end, and in a full circle it'll be 1/2 inch more. So I think that's a pretty big difference, 1/2 inch more on the chest size. It will definitely make it feel a little more looser. So for the hem, last year's model is 24 3/4, so it's a little bit flared out from the chest to the hem. Not by much, because it's only a 1/4. And for this year's model, so 24.25 to 3/4 too. So this year's model is just straight down, more like a rectangular spacing. So this is slightly more curved compared to this guy. The width of the side panel are the same, as well as the taping in the middle. There's no difference here. They're the same. So I'm gonna compare with KD's jersey. This is last year, this is this year. As you can see already that they're completely different. So it has a different font, a little bit more rounder on the Golden State and the Warriors. And the foreground and the background has reversed. So the background on last year's model is yellow, but now it's in blue. And it might feel that it's a little bit smaller logo compared to last year's. This is last year, this one's this year's. It may look small, but the fabric actually comes out here. And there's a blue print right here, so it makes it look like the logo is smaller. And let's compare the logo in detail. So I mentioned about this part already, these lines. This is something new that they didn't have last year. And the number of the wires are different. I think this one has more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whereas this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's missing 3 on the longer side. On the shorter size, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 wires, whereas there's 3 wires here. So they kind of simplify the whole logo into these. And the font on the numbers too. So it doesn't have some of these edges that they have on the past models. And for some small detail, there's actually a little bit more shadowing here. And this one, the line goes pretty thin. So this line gets pretty sharp and get faded out. Whereas the new one, it doesn't quite fade out. It just has a rectangular space. And there's actually a shadowing right here too that they didn't have in the previous model. And the square right here, or the triangle right here, is a lot bigger on this one. Oh, this one looks a little bit cuter because it's a little bit more rounded. This one looks a little bit more commercial. I don't think one is better than the other, but in a couple years I think I'll enjoy this one more. But for now, it's not that much difference. And also, one of the big difference is this one is not centered. There's more gap here on the bottom than the top, but it's now balanced. It almost looks like an app icon. And this is how the back looks. The number is actually a little bit longer than the previous years, and the lines are a lot more simple. Thompson looks more narrow and compressed compared to last year's Model 2. So the T has these edges. They don't have that anymore. They simplified it. And same thing here. It's a little bit more simple, and this is cornered, but it's a little bit more square. It's a little bit more boxier, and probably because of that, the name looks more compressed. The distance between each other are a little bit more smaller. And the last place we're going to look at is the Nike Connect tag. First year, second year, third year. Second year, you could tell the difference. Didn't have the plus sign, and the Jerry West logo, it was a little bit wider. So you could see this is the last year's model, the first year's model. It has plus. Jerry West, there's a lot of perforation and it's not that white. But for last year's, you don't see much perforation. It's a little bit more wider compared to the first year. So it looks more like this on the first year. Second year, they upgraded to a little bit more pure white. But for next season, it's back to this. This is same as the first year. You see a little bit more of the perforation again. Same textile as here. Whereas last year, you couldn't really see it. It was a little bit hidden better. And another difference is this box right here. I think this is where you put your name on. Last year it became white, and next year it's gonna be silver or gray again. And the plus sign's back. So after trying these on, I don't feel that one is better than the other. But if I were to rank it, I'll probably put this one to last, the 2017-2018 model. It felt a little bit shorter than the other two, but they felt about the same. This guy felt like it had more shape to the body, whereas this one felt more relaxed, but it may be the same thing. So they're equally as comfortable. And if you don't care about the difference in the logo, I'll definitely go for the older one, just because they're a little bit cheaper right now. But if you do want the new one, it's available at most sporting stores like Fanatics, NBA.com, Nike, and all the other places. And as always, I'll be doing another review for Authentic jersey in the coming month. That's it for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well as liking the video. And I do have a link to my social media, Instagram and Twitter, so I'll appreciate if you could follow me on that too. I think my next giveaway will be done under that, either one of them, either Instagram or Twitter giveaway. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.